Picture August 12th, 1985. You're cruising at 24,000 feet over Japan in a Boeing 747?
Right, a perfectly standard flight.
Exactly. But suddenly, there's a deafening explosion that just rips through the rear of the cabin. The air instantly vanishes. Welcome to the debate.
And, up in the cockpit, you have this incredibly experienced crew staring at their instruments in absolute disbelief. The yoke is completely dead.
Just totally useless.
Right. I mean, this 500,000-pound marvel of engineering has just lost literally all mechanical flight controls. And it's flying near the speed of sound.
Today, we are analyzing the catastrophic loss of Japan Airlines Flight 123. The central question we're looking at, was this tragedy primarily caused by a latent systemic maintenance error, or was it a fatal lack of aerodynamic redundancy in the aircraft's design?
Right, the two big theories.
Exactly. I argue that the root cause lies entirely on the ground. It was a flawed repair that created this invisible, catastrophic metal fatigue problem.
Well, and I look at the very blueprint of the aircraft. I argue the true failure was an unforgivable design flaw. A single localized breach just instantly severed every backup control system the pilots had.
Let's trace this back 7 years before the crash, to a 1978 tail strike.
Oh, the initial incident.
Yeah, so when engineers repaired the pressure bulkhead, which is the dome sealing the pressurized cabin, they actually didn't follow Boeing's specifications.
They used the wrong plates, right?
Right. They were supposed to use one continuous splice plate across the damaged section. Instead, they used two separate plates. And, why does that matter?
The stress distribution.
All that immense pressure was concentrated on a single row of rivets.
Wow.
Yeah. So with every single flight, as the cabin inflated and deflated, these microscopic fatigue cracks just grew and grew around those rivets.
Right. The mechanics of that failure are undeniable, sure. But we have to look at what happened the moment that bulkhead actually gave way.
The blowout.
Exactly. The explosive decompression didn't just blow a hole in the fuselage. The pressurized air blasted into the unpressurized tail section with such violence that it blew the vertical stabilizer right off the plane.
The whole tail fin.
The whole thing. Gone. But here's the really critical design flaw. All four of the 747's independent hydraulic lines were routed right through that exact same physical space in the tail.
Ah, so it created a single point of failure.
Exactly. I mean, true redundancy means backups are physically separated. Because they converged in that one tiny area, the blast instantly severed all four lines.
Just wipe them out.
Yeah. The aircraft's fail-safe design failed its most critical test. It turned what might have been a survivable hull breach into an uncontrollable Dutch roll. Where the plane violently and simultaneously oscillates side to side and up and down.
I'll grant you, seeing all four hydraulic lines wiped out in one localized event is, well, it's a staggering design oversight.
It really is.
But focusing on the severed lines feels like blaming the flood on a lack of sandbags rather than the blown dam. The loss of those lines was really the inevitable result of a flawed inspection protocol.
How so?
Well, over those 7 years, maintenance crews inspected the bulkhead specifically for corrosion. They completely missed the severe metal fatigue developing right at that improper splice.
Because they were looking for the wrong thing.
Exactly. They were looking for the wrong mode of failure entirely.
Even if they had been looking for the right mode, honoring the reality of flight means accepting that structures will occasionally take unexpected damage.
Sure, damage happens.
Right. And just look at the absolute ingenuity of Captain Takahama and his crew in that cockpit. They had zero use of the yoke. Nothing.
It's incredible what they managed to do.
It really is. To steer, they used differential engine thrust, meaning, they would throttle up the engines on the right wing to physically push the nose to the left, and vice versa.
Right, just literally balancing a massive jet entirely on asymmetrical engine power.
Yes. And using alternate electric motors to extend the flaps, just desperately manipulating lift to try and tame that Dutch roll.
It's a masterclass in airmanship.
The human element didn't fail at all. They were astoundingly sound under extreme pressure. They were doomed simply because the machine gave them absolutely no mechanical redundancy to fight with.
See, but I think that ingenuity in the cockpit actually reinforces my perspective.
Really?
Yeah, because the pilots did practically everything perfectly, yet they couldn't overcome the structural failure that was initiated by human error on the ground.
I mean, they fought it for 30 minutes.
They did. But history proves that latent maintenance errors are the necessary primary threat here. Look at the aftermath 17 years later.
You're talking about the China Airlines flight?
Exactly. A China Airlines 747 disintegrated mid-flight over the Taiwan Strait, and it was the exact same root cause, a deeply flawed tail strike repair made 22 years prior.
22 years. Wow.
Yeah, these latent errors just lie dormant for decades. No amount of aerodynamic redundancy can save an aircraft if its fundamental structure is compromised from within.
But, well, that's exactly why you build in redundancy that can survive a catastrophic structural failure. You have to design for the worst-case scenario.
Even a blown bulkhead.
Yes, knowing that human error in maintenance is just, inevitable over a 30-year airframe lifespan. You can't assume perfect maintenance.
I think we're actually circling the same vital intersection here. True aviation safety doesn't rely on just one pillar.
Right, it takes both.
It really demands absolute precision in maintenance execution on the ground and the unforgiving safety net of true physically separated mechanical redundancy in the air.
Exactly. The terrifying nature of these events is really how quiet they are in the buildup and just how violent they are in the climax.
It really leaves you with a heavy realization. I mean, every single rivet driven, every routine visual inspection.
Every line drawn on a blueprint.
Exactly. It all carries the literal weight of hundreds of lives.
It truly does. Well, we leave you to consider whether the ultimate safeguard lies in the hands of the engineers who build the fail-safes or the technicians who preserve the hull.